He didn't take me to Thanksgiving. My mom asked you not to come, Jake said, not meeting my eyes as he zipped his overnight bag Thursday morning. As if it wasn't his choice. As if he hadn't stood there and agreed with whatever his mother supposedly said. As if I was supposed to swallow that lie with a smile and spend the holiday alone in our apartment while he drove 3 hours north to his family's house in the suburbs. I swallowed it quietly. I didn't cry. I didn't argue. I just nodded, kissed him on the cheek, and watched him leave. The door clicked shut, and I stood there in the kitchen we'd decorated together, staring at the half-empty coffee pot, feeling something shift inside me. Something I couldn't name yet. Something that felt like the ground cracking open beneath my feet. My name is Emma. I'm 32. I work as director of operations at a mid-sized marketing firm in downtown Chicago. I manage a team of 12, oversee client accounts worth millions, and I've built a career I'm genuinely proud of. I'm the person who walks into conference rooms and commands attention without raising my voice. The one who solves problems other people create. The one who stays calm when everything's falling apart. At least, that's who I am at work. At home, with Jake, I'd become someone else. Someone smaller. Someone who accepted excuses that didn't make sense. Someone who stopped asking questions because the answers were always the same. You're overthinking it. You're being paranoid. You're too sensitive. We'd been together for 4 years, engaged for 8 months. The wedding was scheduled for next June. I'd already put down deposits on the venue, the photographer, the florist. My dress was hanging in the spare bedroom closet, still wrapped in plastic. I'd shown it to Jake once, and he'd barely looked up from his phone. But I told myself it was fine. He was stressed. Work was demanding. Planning a wedding was hard on everyone. All the things women tell themselves when they're trying to convince their hearts that their intuition is wrong. I spent Thanksgiving alone. I ordered Thai food and worked on a presentation for a client meeting the following week. I didn't call my family. They lived in California, and I'd told them I was spending the holiday with Jake's family. I didn't want to explain. Didn't want to hear the concern in my mother's voice or my sister's pointed questions. Jake texted me once, "Turkey's good. Miss you." 3 words, no apology. No explanation. I stared at the message for a long time before typing back, "Enjoy." Friday morning, I went into the office early. The building was quiet, most people still off for the long weekend. I liked it that way. The silence, the empty hallways, the feeling of being alone with my work, where everything made sense and I was in control. I was reviewing a contract at my desk when I heard voices outside my office. Our HR coordinator, Michelle, was giving someone a tour. "And this is the operations wing. Director's office is right here. She's usually in early." I glanced up as the door opened. Michelle stepped in first, smiling apologetically. "Emma, sorry to interrupt. This is Vanessa Cole. She's interviewing for the junior account manager position. I wanted her to see where she'd be working if she joins the team." And then I saw her. Vanessa Cole. Mid-20s, blonde, polished in a way that looked expensive, wearing a navy blazer that probably cost more than most people's rent. She stepped into my office behind Michelle, her expression confident, professional, and then she saw me. Her face changed, the color drained. Her eyes went wide, then darted to the side, like she was looking for an escape route. Her mouth opened slightly, but no sound came out. I knew that face. I'd seen it before, on Jake's phone, 3 weeks ago, when he'd left it unlocked on the bathroom counter while he was in the shower. A text preview on the screen. "Can't wait to see you tonight. Wear that blue dress I like." From someone named Vanessa. I hadn't said anything then. I'd convinced myself it was nothing. A coworker, a friend, something innocent. But now she was standing in my office, and the way she was looking at me told me everything I needed to know. "This is Emma Reynolds," Michelle continued, oblivious. She's been with the company for 6 years and oversees all major accounts and operations. Vanessa's lips trembled. She tried to smile, but it came out wrong, tight, forced, like her face was fighting against itself. "Nice to meet you," she managed, her voice barely above a whisper. I stood up slowly, extended my hand across the desk. "Vanessa," I said calmly. "Welcome." She hesitated, then shook my hand. Her palm was cold, damp. She was terrified. Good. I held her gaze, let the silence stretch just a beat too long. Then I smiled, the same smile I used in negotiations when I knew I had the upper hand. "Michelle mentioned you're interviewing for the junior account manager role. That position reports directly to me." The words hung in the air like a blade. Vanessa's throat moved as she swallowed. She nodded, unable to speak. Michelle, still unaware, gestured toward the door. "We'll let you get back to work, Emma. Thanks for letting us pop in." "Of course," I said, sitting back down. "Vanessa, we'll be in touch about next steps." She left without another word. I watched her walk down the hallway through the glass wall of my office, her shoulders stiff, her steps quick. And then I sat there, staring at the contract on my desk, feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Clarity. Because in that moment, everything made sense. The distance, the excuses, the Thanksgiving I spent alone, the way Jake had been pulling away for weeks, making me feel like I was the problem, the way he'd made me doubt myself, question my own instincts, shrink into someone who accepted lies without protest. He'd been cheating on me, with her. And he'd described me to her as someone insignificant enough that she had no idea who I really was. Not the woman who signed off on hiring decisions at a company she was desperate to work for. Not the woman who held her career in her hands. I picked up my phone, opened the text thread with Jake. "We need to talk. Tonight." Then I opened my laptop and pulled up Vanessa Cole's resume, reviewed her qualifications, her references, her cover letter, where she'd written about how much she admired our company culture and wanted to be part of a team that valued integrity and transparency. Integrity. Transparency. I almost laughed, but I didn't. Because I wasn't going to react the way he expected. I wasn't going to cry or scream or beg for an explanation. I wasn't going to be the woman he could dismiss or manipulate or gaslight into believing this was somehow my fault. I was going to be exactly who I was, the woman who walked into rooms and commanded attention, the woman who solved problems, the woman who stayed calm when everything was falling apart. And right now, Jake and Vanessa had a very big problem. Me. I closed my laptop, leaned back in my chair, looked out the window at the city skyline, gray and cold under the November sky. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. Because I wasn't the quiet little girlfriend he'd described to justify his betrayal. I was the director of operations. I was the woman with nothing to lose. And that was exactly why I wasn't going to let this go. Jake came home at 7. I heard his key in the lock, the familiar sound of his messenger bag hitting the floor in the entryway, his footsteps in the hallway. I was sitting on the couch in the living room, still in my work clothes, a glass of wine on the coffee table in front of me, untouched. "Hey," he called out, his tone casual, like nothing was wrong. Like he hadn't abandoned me on Thanksgiving. Like his mistress hadn't walked into my office that morning. "Sorry I'm late. Traffic from my parents' place was terrible." He appeared in the doorway, loosening his tie. He looked tired. Good. He should be tired. "We need to talk," I said. His expression shifted. Not quite concern, more like irritation masked as concern. "About what?" "Sit down." He hesitated, then sat in the armchair across from me, leaned back, crossed his ankle over his knee, the posture of someone who wasn't worried, someone who thought he was still in control. "What's going on?" he asked. I looked at him, really looked at him. Dark hair, blue eyes, the kind of smile that had made me trust him 4 years ago when we met at a friend's party. He'd been charming then, attentive. He'd asked me about my work, my dreams, my life. He'd made me feel seen. Now I wondered how much of that had been real. "Vanessa Cole," I said. The color drained from his face, just like it had drained from hers that morning. "What?" His voice came out too high, too fast. "Vanessa Cole interviewed at my company today, for a position that reports directly to me." He opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. I don't know who that is." I picked up my phone from the couch beside me, opened the screenshot I'd taken 3 weeks ago, the text message on his phone, held it up so he could see it. "Can't wait to see you tonight. Wear that blue dress I like." His jaw tightened. "You went through my phone. You left it unlocked. You had no right." "How long?" I asked, my voice calm. Steady. The same voice I used in meetings when clients tried to negotiate terms they had no leverage for. He stared at me. I could see his mind working, calculating, trying to figure out how much I knew, how much he could still deny. "How long, Jake?" He rubbed his face with both hands, let out a long breath. 6 months. 6 months. I'd been planning our wedding for 6 months, choosing flowers, tasting cakes, addressing invitations. And he'd been sleeping with someone else. "Does she know you're engaged?" I asked. He didn't answer. "Does she know you're engaged to me?" "She knows," he said quietly. "But I told her. I told her we were having problems, that you and I weren't really, that it wasn't serious anymore." "Not serious. 4 years. An engagement. A wedding planned for June. Not serious." "And Thanksgiving?" I asked. "Your mother didn't ask me not to come, did she?" His silence was answer enough. "You took her," I said. Not a question. A statement. He looked away. "My family doesn't know about you and me having issues. I thought it would be easier if you brought your mistress to Thanksgiving instead of your fiancé." "Don't call her that." "What should I call her?" I asked. "Your girlfriend? Your colleague? The woman you've been lying to for 6 months?" "It's not like that," he said, his voice rising. "You don't understand. You're never here. You're always working. You care more about your job than you do about us. I've been lonely, Emma. You made me feel invisible." There it was. The script I'd heard 100 times in 100 different ways. The gaslighting. The blame shifting. The way he made his choices my fault. "So you cheated on me because I have a career," I said flatly. "That's not what And you lied to me. And you brought another woman to your family's house on Thanksgiving. And you let me sit here alone thinking your mother didn't want me there." "I didn't know what else to do," he said. And for the first time, he sounded desperate. "I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't want to hurt you." I laughed, actually laughed. A short, bitter sound. "You didn't want to hurt me," I repeated. "So instead, you've been lying to my face for 6 months. You've been making me feel crazy for noticing you were pulling away. You've been gaslighting me into believing I was the problem." "I wasn't." "Does she know who I am?" I asked. "Does she know I'm the director of operations at the company she's trying to work for?" His eyes widened. "Emma, please don't." "Don't what? Don't hire her? Don't tell her the truth? Don't destroy the fantasy you've built for her where I'm just some quiet little girlfriend who doesn't matter." "That's not fair," he said, standing up. "You can't punish her for this. She didn't know the whole story. I'm the one who— Sit down." Something in my voice made him freeze. "Sit down." He sat. I leaned forward, my elbows on my knees, my hands clasped. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to pack a bag tonight. You're going to stay somewhere else. I don't care where. Your parents' house, a hotel, Vanessa's apartment? I don't care. But you're not staying here. Emma, I'm not finished. My voice was ice. You have 1 week to come back and get the rest of your things. After that, I'm changing the locks. The apartment is in my name. The furniture is mine. The security deposit is mine. You have no claim to any of it. You can't just kick me out. Yes, I can. And I am. He stared at me like he didn't recognize me. Good. Maybe he never really had. What about the wedding? He asked, his voice small. There is no wedding. Emma, please. Can we talk about this? I made a mistake. I know I did. But we can work through this. We can go to counseling. I'll end things with Vanessa. I'll do whatever you want. You'll end things with Vanessa, I repeated slowly. Because I found out. Not because you felt guilty. Not because you realized what you were doing was wrong. But because you got caught. That's not... If she hadn't walked into my office today, would you have told me? He didn't answer. Would you have told me, Jake? I don't know, he whispered. Get out. Emma, get out. He stood up, ran his hands through his hair, paced to the window and back. This is insane. You're overreacting. People make mistakes. Couples get through this kind of thing all the time. I'm not overreacting, I said, my voice steady. I'm reacting exactly how I should. You betrayed me. You lied to me. You humiliated me. And now you're trying to make me feel like I'm the crazy one for not accepting it. I'm not trying to... Yes, you are. That's what you've been doing for months. Making me doubt myself. Making me feel like I was imagining things. Making me feel like I was the problem. He opened his mouth, then closed it. Pack a bag, I said. Now. He stared at me for a long moment. Then he turned and walked down the hallway to our bedroom. I heard drawers opening, the closet door sliding, the sound of clothes being thrown into a suitcase. I sat there on the couch, perfectly still, listening to the sounds of him leaving. 20 minutes later, he came back into the living room with a duffel bag over his shoulder. I'll call you tomorrow, he said, when you've calmed down. Don't bother. Emma. I mean it, Jake. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't show up here. If you have something to say, you can say it through a lawyer. His face went pale. A lawyer? Are you serious? Completely. You're really going to throw away 4 years over one mistake? You made a choice every single day for 6 months, I said. That's not one mistake. That's a pattern. That's who you are. He shook his head. You're going to regret this. No, I said. I'm not. He stood there for another moment, like he was waiting for me to change my mind, to break down, to beg him to stay. I didn't move. Finally, he turned and walked to the door, opened it, paused. I really did love you, he said without turning around. No, I said. You loved the version of me that made you feel good about yourself. You loved the woman who didn't ask questions, the woman who accepted your excuses, the woman who made herself smaller so you could feel bigger. He left without another word. The door closed, the lock clicked. And then the apartment was silent. I sat there for a long time, staring at the space where he'd been standing, feeling the weight of what had just happened settle over me like a blanket. And then I picked up my phone and called my lawyer. The next morning was Saturday. I woke up early, made coffee, and sat at the kitchen table with my laptop. I had work to do. First, I pulled up Vanessa's resume again, reviewed her qualifications with fresh eyes. She was smart, I'd give her that. Good education, solid experience, strong references. Under different circumstances, she might have been a good fit for the team. But these weren't different circumstances. I opened my email and started drafting a message to Michelle in HR. Michelle. Thank you for bringing Vanessa Cole by yesterday. After reviewing her qualifications and speaking with the team, I don't think she's the right fit for the junior account manager position. Her experience is more suited to a different environment. Let's continue our search. Best. Emma. Professional. Neutral. Unassailable. I sent it. Then I opened a new message and sent an email to my lawyer, David Chen. I'd worked with him on contract negotiations before. He was sharp, discreet, and didn't ask unnecessary questions. David. I need to schedule a consultation regarding a personal matter. My engagement has ended, and I need to ensure my assets and property are protected. Can we meet early next week? Thanks, Emma. His response came back within an hour. Emma. Sorry to hear that. Monday at 2 p.m. work for you? My office. David. I confirmed. Then I sat back and stared at my coffee mug, feeling something unfamiliar settling into my chest. Control. For the first time in months, I felt like I was the one making decisions. I wasn't reacting to Jake's lies or trying to fix problems he'd created. I wasn't making myself smaller or quieter or more convenient. I was taking action. My phone buzzed. A text from Jake. Can we please talk? I'm at my parents' house. I told them what happened. My mom wants to call you. I stared at the message. His mother. The woman who supposedly didn't want me at Thanksgiving. The woman who'd probably had no idea Jake had brought Vanessa instead of me. I typed back, "Don't have your mother call me. Don't have anyone call me." I meant what I said. Talk to me through a lawyer. His response came immediately. "You're being unreasonable." I didn't reply. Another text. "At least let me explain. You don't understand the whole situation." I blocked his number. Then I blocked him on social media. Instagram, Facebook, everything. I didn't need to see his face, didn't need to see his explanations or his attempts to rewrite history. I was done. My phone rang. My mother. I let it go to voicemail. I wasn't ready to explain yet. Wasn't ready to hear the pity in her voice or my sister's "I told you so" tone. They'd never really liked Jake. They'd been polite, supportive, but I'd always sensed they thought I could do better. They were right. Instead, I called my best friend Morgan. She picked up on the second ring. "Emma? Hey, what's up?" "Jake and I broke up," I said. Silence. Then, "What happened?" "He's been cheating on me for 6 months." Oh my God. His mistress showed up at my office yesterday for a job interview. You're kidding. I wish I was. "Emma, I'm so sorry. Are you okay?" "I don't know," I said honestly. I feel, I don't know, angry, relieved, both. "Do you want me to come over? I can be there in 30 minutes. "No, I'm okay. I just needed to hear a friendly voice." "Did you kick him out?" "Last night." "Good. He doesn't deserve you. He never did." I smiled despite myself. "Thanks, Morgan. I mean it. You're brilliant and beautiful, and you've put up with his mediocre nonsense for way too long. You're going to be fine. Better than fine." We talked for another 20 minutes. She made me laugh, reminded me of who I was before Jake, told me she'd take me out for drinks next weekend and we'd celebrate my freedom. When I hung up, I felt lighter. I spent the rest of the weekend cleaning the apartment. I packed up Jake's things, his books, his clothes, his toiletries, the stupid gaming console he'd insisted on putting in the living room. I put everything in boxes and stacked them by the door. If he wanted them, he could pick them up. If he didn't, I'd donate them. I took down the engagement photos on the bookshelf. The picture of us in Hawaii, the one from his cousin's wedding. I put them all in a box in the closet, out of sight. I rearranged the furniture, moved the couch to face the window instead of the TV, put my favorite books on the coffee table, made the space mine again. By Sunday night, the apartment looked different, felt different. It felt like my space, not ours. Mine. I ordered takeout and ate dinner on the couch, watching a documentary about women who'd started their own businesses. I felt inspired, hopeful. And when I went to bed that night, alone in the queen-sized bed I'd once shared with Jake, I didn't cry. I slept better than I had in months. Monday morning, I went into the office early again. I had a client meeting at 9 and a presentation to finalize. I threw myself into work, grateful for the distraction. Michelle stopped by my office around 10. "Hey, Emma, I got your email about Vanessa Cole. No problem. We'll keep looking. I have 2 other candidates lined up for interviews this week." "Great," I said. "Let me know if you need me to sit in on any of them." "Will do." She left, and I turned back to my computer. At 2 o'clock, I left the office and drove to David's law firm downtown. His office was on the 15th floor of a glass tower with a view of the lake. He greeted me with a firm handshake and a sympathetic smile. "Emma, good to see you, though I'm sorry it's under these circumstances." "Thanks for meeting on short notice," I said, sitting down across from his desk. "Of course. So, tell me what's going on." I explained the situation, the engagement, the infidelity, Jake's name not being on the lease, the wedding deposits I'd paid for, the ring, a family heirloom from his grandmother that I was technically supposed to return. David took notes, nodding occasionally. "Okay, this is actually pretty straightforward. Since you're not married, there's no formal divorce process. The apartment is yours. He has no legal claim. As for the wedding deposits, those are your losses, unfortunately. Most vendors don't refund for cancellations this close to the date." I figured. "The ring, though, if it's a family heirloom and the engagement is broken, you do technically have to return it. It's considered a conditional gift." I reached into my purse and pulled out the small velvet box, set it on his desk. "I don't want it." David picked it up, examined it briefly, then set it aside. "I'll have it returned to him through official channels. You won't have to see him or talk to him." "Thank you." "As for any shared assets, bank accounts, credit cards, anything like that, I'd recommend separating those as soon as possible." "We have a joint account," I said, "for household expenses. It's got about $3,000 in it. Withdraw half, close the account, open a new one in your name only." I nodded. "What about him contacting me? Can I get a restraining order or something? Has he threatened you? Shown up at your apartment uninvited? Anything that would constitute harassment?" "No. He's just been texting, calling. I blocked him." "Good. Keep it that way. Document everything. If he does show up or tries to contact you through other people, keep records. If it escalates, we can pursue a no-contact order. But for now, blocking him and refusing to engage is your best strategy." I felt a knot in my chest loosen. "So I'm protected?" "Legally, yes. The apartment is yours. Your assets are yours. He has no claim to anything, and if he tries to cause problems, we'll handle it." "Thank you, David." "You're welcome. And Emma?" He leaned forward, his expression serious. "I've seen situations like this before. People who've been betrayed often feel guilty for protecting themselves. They worry they're being too harsh or too cold. Don't fall into that trap. You're doing the right thing." I nodded, feeling a lump form in my throat. I just keep thinking, what if I'm overreacting? What if I should give him another chance? "Do you want to give him another chance?" I thought about it, really thought about it. "No," I said. "I don't." "Then don't. Trust yourself." I left David's office feeling stronger, more certain. I stopped at the bank on the way home and withdrew $1,500 from the joint account. Then I closed it, opened a new account in my name only, changed the passwords on my email, my social media, my credit cards, anything Jake might have access to. I was erasing him from my life, one account at a time. That evening, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Emma Reynolds?" A woman's voice, young, nervous. "Who is this?" "It's Vanessa. Vanessa Cole." I froze. "I know I shouldn't be calling you," she continued quickly, her words tumbling over each other. I know you probably don't want to talk to me, but I need to explain. I need you to understand. How did you get my number? I asked, my voice cold. Jake gave it to me. Of course he did. I didn't know, she said, her voice breaking. I swear I didn't know who you were. When Jake told me about you, he said you two weren't really together anymore, that you were just going through the motions, that the engagement was a formality, but you'd both agreed it was over. And you believed him. Yes, I believed him, because he seemed genuine, because She stopped, took a breath. Because I thought I was in love with him. Thought, past tense. Why are you calling me? I asked. Because after I saw you on Friday, I confronted him. I asked him why he didn't tell me you were the director of operations at the company I was interviewing for. Why he made it sound like you were some nobody. And he couldn't give me a straight answer. He kept changing the story. And then I realized everything he'd told me about you was a lie. I said nothing. I'm not calling to ask you to forgive me, Vanessa said. I'm calling to tell you I'm sorry. And to tell you that I ended things with him. Yesterday. I'm not the kind of person who does this. Who gets involved with someone else's fiancé. I thought I was helping him get out of a bad relationship. But I was just the other woman, and I hate myself for it. I listened to her cry on the other end of the line. I withdrew my application, she continued. I'm not going to work at your company. I don't expect you to hire me. I wanted you to know that I'm sorry, and that you deserve so much better than him. She hung up before I could respond. I stood there in my kitchen, holding my phone, feeling something unexpected. Pity. Not for me. For her. She'd been lied to, too. Manipulated. Used. Jake had built a fantasy for her the same way he'd built a fantasy for me. And when it collapsed, she'd had the self-awareness to walk away. I respected that. I didn't forgive her. I didn't have to. But I respected it. That night, I opened my laptop and started writing. Not for work, for me. I wrote about what had happened, the betrayal, the lies. The moment Vanessa walked into my office and our eyes met. The way Jake tried to gaslight me into believing I was the problem. The way I'd taken control back. I wrote about the woman I used to be. The one who made herself smaller, who accepted excuses, who doubted her own instincts. And I wrote about the woman I was becoming. The one who refused to shrink, who trusted herself, who chose dignity over desperation. I didn't know what I'd do with the writing. Maybe nothing. Maybe I'd show it to Morgan. Maybe someday I'd look back on it and remember this as the moment everything changed. But for now, it was enough just to put the words on the page, to tell my own story, in my own voice, to reclaim the narrative Jake had tried to write for me. I closed the laptop and looked around my apartment. My apartment, not ours. The space I'd reclaimed, the life I was rebuilding. And for the first time in a long time, I felt something that wasn't anger or hurt or confusion. I felt free. The week that followed felt like living in two different worlds. At work, I was the same Emma I'd always been. Focused, efficient, commanding. I led meetings, closed deals, managed my team with the same steady hand I always had. No one knew what had happened. No one asked why I'd suddenly stopped wearing my engagement ring. I kept my personal life locked away in a separate compartment, where it couldn't touch the professional reputation I'd spent 6 years building. But at home, alone in my apartment, I was someone else. Someone I was still getting to know. I didn't fall apart the way I thought I would. There were no dramatic crying sessions or nights spent staring at old photos. Instead, there was a strange, hollow feeling, like I'd been holding my breath for months and had finally exhaled, only to find my lungs didn't quite remember how to fill back up. I moved through my days with a kind of mechanical precision. I went to the gym. I cooked actual meals instead of eating takeout. I reorganized my closet. I painted the accent wall in the bedroom a soft gray blue, covering up the beige Jake had insisted on because it was neutral. I was rebuilding, piece by piece. On Wednesday, Jake's mother called. I saw her name on my screen, Carol Morrison, and almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Maybe curiosity. Maybe a need for closure I hadn't admitted to myself yet. "Hello, Carol." "Emma." Her voice was tight, strained. "I'm so glad you answered. I've been worried sick." I said nothing. "Jake told me what happened," she continued. "About the misunderstanding with that girl. He's devastated, Emma. Absolutely devastated. He made a terrible mistake, but he loves you. He wants to fix this." "There's nothing to fix," I said quietly. "Please don't say that. You two have been together for 4 years. You're planning a wedding. You can't just throw all of that away over one mistake." One mistake. The same words Jake had used. "Carol, did you know he brought Vanessa to Thanksgiving?" Silence. "Did you know he told me you asked me not to come?" When the truth was, he chose to bring his girlfriend instead of his fiancé. "Emma, I didn't..." Her voice cracked. "He told me you had to work, that you couldn't make it." "I didn't have to work. He lied to you too." I heard her breath catch. "He's been lying to everyone," I continued, my voice steady. "To you, to me, to Vanessa. He's built an entire life out of lies, and I'm not going to be part of it anymore. Emma, please, he's my son. I know he's made mistakes, but people can change. If you just give him another chance..." "I'm sorry, Carol. I really am. But I can't do that. What about the wedding? The deposits? The invitations we've already sent? Cancel them." "Emma, I have to go," I said. "I hope you understand. This isn't about you. But I can't have Jake in my life anymore. And that means I can't have these conversations." "You're making a mistake," she said, her voice shaking. "You're going to regret this." "Maybe," I said. "But it's my mistake to make." I hung up. My hands were trembling. I set the phone down on the kitchen counter and gripped the edge of the granite, breathing slowly, evenly. The way I'd learned in a meditation class I took years ago and never kept up with. I wasn't angry. I was just tired. Tired of being told I was wrong for protecting myself. Tired of being told I was overreacting. Tired of being made to feel like I owed Jake something. My forgiveness, my understanding, my willingness to pretend the last 6 months hadn't happened. I owed him nothing. That night, I got another call. This time from Jake's younger brother, Ryan. I sent it to voicemail. Then I got a text from his sister, Megan, asking if we could talk. They were circling the wagons, protecting him, trying to convince me to come back, to give him another chance, to be the understanding woman who forgave and forgot. I blocked them all. Then I called Morgan. "They're not going to leave you alone, are they?" she said when I told her what was happening. "No. Good thing you have a lawyer." "Yeah." "Emma, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Are you okay? Really?" I thought about it. Was I okay? "I don't know," I said honestly. "I feel like I should be falling apart, like I should be crying or angry or something. But I just feel numb, like I'm watching all of this happen to someone else." "That's normal," Morgan said. "You're in shock. It's going to hit you eventually. And when it does, I'll be there." "Thank you. In the meantime, you're handling this exactly right. You're protecting yourself. You're moving forward. You're not letting him or his family manipulate you into thinking you're the bad guy here." "I don't feel like the good guy either," I admitted. "That's because you're human. But trust me, Emma, you're doing the right thing." After we hung up, I sat on my couch and stared at the wall I'd just painted. The soft gray blue looked good in the lamplight. Calming. Peaceful. I'd chosen it. Not Jake, not us, me. And that felt like something. By Friday, I'd settled into a new routine. Wake up at 6, go for a run, shower, coffee, work, home, dinner, read, bed. Simple, structured. Mine. I was leaving the office around 7 when I saw him. Jake was standing in the parking garage next to my car. My heart lurched. I stopped walking, my hand tightening around my bag. He looked terrible. Unshaven, rumpled, like he hadn't slept in days. His eyes were red-rimmed. "Emma," he said, stepping toward me. "Don't," I said sharply, holding up my hand. "Don't come any closer." He froze. "I just want to talk. Please." "I told you to contact me through my lawyer." "I know, but I can't do this through lawyers. I need to talk to you, face to face." "No." "Emma, please, just 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking." "How did you know I'd be here?" I asked, my voice cold. "I know when you leave work. I know your schedule." A chill ran down my spine. "Have you been watching me?" No, I used to pick you up sometimes, remember? I know your routine." "That's not comforting, Jake." "I'm not trying to scare you," he said, his voice desperate. "I'm just trying to fix this. I'm trying to get you to listen to me." "I don't want to listen to you." "You're being unreasonable." "I'm being unreasonable," I repeated, my voice rising. "You cheated on me for 6 months. You brought your girlfriend to Thanksgiving and lied about it. You gaslight me into thinking I was the problem, and I'm unreasonable?" "I made a mistake," he shouted, and his voice echoed through the concrete garage. "I made a mistake and I'm sorry. How many times do I have to say it?" "You don't get it, do you?" I said quietly. "This isn't about apologies. This is about who you are. You're someone who lies, someone who betrays the people who love him, someone who makes me feel crazy for trusting my own instincts." "That's not who I am," he said, his voice breaking. "I'm not that person. I was confused. I was stressed. Work has been hard, and we weren't connecting, and I made a bad choice." "A bad choice," I repeated. "You made a bad choice every single day for 6 months. That's not confusion, Jake. That's a pattern." "So that's it?" he said, his voice turning bitter. 4 years and you're just done? You're not even going to try?" "I tried," I said. "For months I tried. I tried to be more available. I tried to be less focused on work. I tried to be the woman you wanted me to be. And you still cheated." "I'll go to therapy," he said desperately. "We can go together. We can fix this." "I don't want to fix this. I want to move on." "With who?" he demanded, his eyes narrowing. "Is there someone else? Is that what this is really about?" I stared at him. "You're unbelievable. I'm asking a legitimate question." "No, Jake. There's no one else. There's just me, choosing myself for once." "You're going to regret this," he said, his voice low, threatening. "You're going to be alone and miserable, and you're going to realize you threw away the best thing that ever happened to you." "If you were the best thing that ever happened to me," I said quietly, "then I've lived a very sad life." His face crumpled. I walked past him to my car. My hands were shaking as I unlocked it. "Emma, wait." "If you contact me again," I said without turning around, "I'll file for a restraining order." I got in my car, locked the doors, and drove away. In my rearview mirror, I saw him standing there in the parking garage, alone, getting smaller and smaller until he disappeared. That night, I called David Chen. "He showed up at my office," I told him. "In the parking garage. He was waiting by my car." "Did he threaten you?" "Not explicitly, but he said I'd regret leaving him, that I'd be alone and miserable. It felt threatening." "Document it. Write down everything he said, the date, the time, where it happened. If he contacts you again or shows up again, we'll file for a no-contact order immediately." "Okay. Emma, are you safe? Do you feel safe at home?" I thought about it. My apartment building had a security entrance. Jake didn't have a key anymore. I'd already changed the locks. He didn't know the new entry code. "Yes," I said. I feel safe. Good. But if that changes, call me. Day or night. Thank you, David. After I hung up, I sat down at my kitchen table and wrote down everything Jake had said in the parking garage. Every word I could remember. The way he'd looked. The tone of his voice when he said I'd regret this. It felt clinical, cold, but necessary. I was protecting myself. The next morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. Not from Jake, from numbers I didn't recognize. I opened the messages, my stomach sinking. You broke his heart. How could you? He's a good man. You're going to regret this. You're a cold bitch. He deserves better. I hope you end up alone. And then, mixed in with the vitriol, a few that were different. You don't know me, but I'm Jake's cousin. Please give him another chance. He's not himself right now. This is his friend from college. He's devastated. Can you please talk to him? They'd mobilized. His entire family, his friends, everyone he knew. They were coming after me. I felt something cold and hard settle in my chest. This was a campaign, coordinated, deliberate. Jake was trying to break me down, to overwhelm me, to make me feel isolated and alone and guilty until I gave in. I took screenshots of every message, saved them to a folder on my computer, sent them to David. Then I changed my phone number. It took 2 hours at the phone store, and it meant notifying everyone I actually cared about, my family, my friends, my colleagues. But it was worth it. By the end of the day, I had a new number, a clean slate. And then I did something I'd been avoiding. I called my mother. Emma, sweetheart, I've been trying to reach you. Your number wasn't working. I changed it, I said. Why? I took a deep breath. Mom, Jake and I broke up. Silence. Then, oh honey, what happened? I told her everything. The cheating, the lies, Vanessa showing up at my office, the parking garage confrontation, the harassment from his family and friends. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she said simply, Are you okay? I think so. Do you need me to come out there? Your father and I can be on a plane tomorrow. No, I'm okay. I needed you to know. I'm so proud of you, she said. I blinked. What? I'm proud of you. For leaving. For protecting yourself. For not letting him manipulate you into staying. I thought you liked Jake. I tolerated Jake, she said. Because you loved him. But I never thought he was good enough for you. You were always doing all the work in that relationship. Always making excuses for him. Always dimming your own light so he could shine. Why didn't you say anything? Because you had to figure it out on your own. If I'd told you, you would have defended him. You had to see it for yourself. I felt tears prick my eyes. I feel like such an idiot. You're not an idiot. You're human. You loved him. You trusted him. That's not weakness, Emma. That's courage. It doesn't feel like courage. It will, she said. Eventually. We talked for another hour. She told me about my sister's new job, my father's golf game, the neighbor's drama, normal things, comforting things. When I hung up, I felt lighter. The following week passed in a blur. I threw myself into work. I took on a new client, a tech startup looking to rebrand. I stayed late at the office. I volunteered to lead the strategy meeting I usually delegated to my senior account manager. My team noticed. Emma, are you okay? My assistant, Priya, asked one afternoon. You've been working nonstop. I'm fine, I said, just focused. She gave me a look that said she didn't believe me, but she didn't push. I appreciated that. On Thursday afternoon, Michelle from HR stopped by my office again. Hey, Emma, quick question. We got a call from a Jake Morrison asking about your schedule. He said he needed to drop something off for you. Should I give him information? My blood ran cold. No, absolutely not. Okay, no problem. I figured I should check first. Michelle, if he calls again, don't engage with him. Just transfer him to security. Her eyebrows rose. Is everything okay? It's fine. He's my ex. We're not on good terms. Understood. I'll make a note in the system. Thank you. After she left, I called David. He's trying to get information about me from my workplace, I told him. That's escalation. I'm filing for the no contact order today. You'll need to go to the courthouse tomorrow to sign the paperwork. But once it's filed, he legally cannot contact you or come within 100 feet of you or your workplace. Okay. Emma, I need you to take this seriously. His behavior is escalating. He's not accepting the breakup. That makes him unpredictable. I know. Do you have somewhere else you can stay for a few days? A friend's place? A hotel? I'm not leaving my apartment, I said firmly. It's mine. He doesn't get to chase me out of my own home. I understand, but please be careful. Vary your routine. Don't go places alone at night. Keep your doors locked. And if you see him anywhere, your apartment, your office, the grocery store, call the police immediately. I will. That night, I barely slept. Every sound in the building made me jump. The neighbor's door closing, footsteps in the hallway, the elevator dinging. I kept my phone on my nightstand, David's number pulled up and ready to call. But Jake didn't show up. The next morning, I went to the courthouse, signed the paperwork for the no contact order. The clerk was sympathetic but efficient. You'll receive notification when it's served, she told me. After that, if he violates it, call the police immediately. Thank you. I left the courthouse feeling strange, lighter, but also heavier. Like I'd taken a step I couldn't take back. But I had taken it, and I didn't regret it. That weekend, Morgan insisted on taking me out. You've been cooped up in that apartment for 2 weeks, she said when she picked me up Saturday night. You need to get out. Remember what fun feels like. We went to a wine bar in Lincoln Park. It was crowded, loud, full of people laughing and talking. Normal people living normal lives. I felt like an alien. You're doing that thing, Morgan said, sipping her Pinot Noir. What thing? That thing where you're physically here but mentally somewhere else. Sorry. Don't apologize. Just talk to me. What's going on in that brilliant head of yours? I swirled my wine glass. I keep thinking about Vanessa. The mistress? Yeah, she called me last week to apologize. Morgan raised an eyebrow. Seriously? She said she didn't know the truth, that Jake lied to her too, that she ended things with him. Do you believe her? I think so. She sounded genuine. So what are you thinking about? I'm thinking about how easy it was for him to lie to both of us, how he had us both convinced we were the problem, how he manipulated 2 smart, capable women into doubting themselves. Morgan leaned forward. That's what people like Jake do. They're experts at making you feel crazy, at making you second-guess your own reality. I know, but it makes me wonder, how many other women has he done this to? How many times has he played this game? Probably a lot, Morgan said. Guys like that don't just wake up one day and decide to start lying. It's a pattern. You were just the first one smart enough to walk away. Vanessa walked away too. Good for her. We sat in silence for a moment. Do you miss him? Morgan asked quietly. No, I said, and I meant it. I miss who I thought he was. I miss the relationship I thought we had. But the real Jake, the one who lied and cheated and tried to make me feel crazy, I don't miss him at all. Then you're already healing, Morgan said. I don't feel like I'm healing. I feel like I'm just surviving. Surviving is healing, she said. You're still standing. You're still moving forward. That's more than a lot of people can say. We finished our wine, ordered another glass, talked about work, about her new boyfriend, about the vacation she was planning to Costa Rica. Normal things. And for a few hours, I felt almost normal too. On Monday morning, I got a call from David. "The no-contact order was served," he said. "Jake's been officially notified. If he violates it, he'll face legal consequences." Good. There's something else. He tried to contest it. His lawyer filed a motion claiming you were exaggerating the threat, that he was just trying to communicate. My stomach dropped. What does that mean? It means there'll be a hearing in 2 weeks. You'll need to testify about the parking garage incident and the harassment. But based on the evidence you've provided, the texts, the workplace contact, the pattern of behavior, I'm confident the order will be upheld. So I have to see him again. In a courtroom, with a judge present, he won't be able to approach you or speak to you directly. I closed my eyes, took a breath. Okay, I can do that. You can? And Emma? Yeah? You're doing everything right. I know this feels overwhelming, but you're protecting yourself. That takes strength. After I hung up, I sat at my desk for a long time, staring at my computer screen without really seeing it. 2 weeks. I had 2 weeks to prepare myself to see Jake again, to sit in a courtroom and recount everything he'd done, to justify my decision to protect myself. It felt exhausting, but it also felt necessary. That afternoon, I was in a meeting with a new client when Priya knocked on the conference room door. "Emma, sorry to interrupt. There's a delivery for you at the front desk." "Can it wait?" The delivery guy said it's urgent. I excused myself and walked to the front desk. There was a massive bouquet of flowers sitting there. Roses, at least 3 dozen. My stomach turned. "Who are these from?" I asked the receptionist. She handed me the card. "I'm sorry. I love you. Please give me another chance. Jay." I stared at the card, then at the flowers. Then I walked back to the conference room, excused myself again, and called David. "He sent flowers to your office?" David said, his voice tight. "Yes." "That's a violation of the no-contact order. I'm calling the courthouse now. This will be added to the evidence for the hearing." "What should I do with the flowers?" "Don't touch them. Take a photo, document the card, then have someone dispose of them." I did exactly that. Then I went back to my meeting and finished the presentation. But my hands were shaking the entire time. That night, I sat in my apartment with all the lights on, the deadbolt locked, the chain engaged. Jake wasn't giving up. He was escalating. And I realized something I'd been trying not to admit to myself. I was scared. Not terrified. Not paralyzed. But scared. Scared of what he might do next. Scared of how far he might go. Scared that the man I'd loved for 4 years was capable of things I'd never imagined. But I was also something else. I was resolved. Because I'd come too far to turn back now. I'd reclaimed my apartment, my life, my sense of self. I'd set boundaries. I'd protected myself. I'd chosen dignity over desperation, and I wasn't going to let him take that away from me. I picked up my phone and texted Morgan, "I'm scared." Her response came immediately. "I know, but you're also strong. Stronger than him. Stronger than his lies. You're going to get through this." "How do you know?" "Because I know you, and you don't quit." I read her message 3 times. She was right. I didn't quit. I set my phone down, stood up, walked to the window and looked out at the city lights stretching into the distance. Somewhere out there, Jake was probably sitting in his parents' house or some hotel room, convincing himself he was the victim. Convincing himself I was being unreasonable. Convincing himself he could fix this if he just tried hard enough. But he couldn't. Because I wasn't the woman he thought I was. I wasn't the quiet little girlfriend who would accept his apologies and take him back. I was Emma Reynolds, Director of Operations, The woman who walked into conference rooms and commanded attention. The woman who protected herself. The woman who refused to shrink. And I was done being afraid. I closed the curtains, turned off the lights, went to bed. And for the first time in days, I slept through the night. The courthouse was colder than I expected. I sat in the hallway outside the courtroom, my hands folded in my lap, David beside me reviewing his notes. Across the hall, Jake sat with his lawyer, a middle-aged man in an expensive suit who kept glancing at me like I was the problem. Jake looked worse than he had in the parking garage, thinner, hollow-eyed. When our eyes met accidentally, I looked away first. Not because I was afraid, but because looking at him felt like looking at a stranger. "You ready?" David asked. "As ready as I'll ever be." The bailiff called us in. The courtroom was small, functional. The judge, a woman in her 50s with sharp eyes and no-nonsense demeanor, sat behind the bench, already reading through the file. I took my seat. Jake sat on the opposite side with his lawyer. The hearing began. David presented the evidence methodically. The parking garage confrontation, the harassment from Jake's family and friends, the attempts to get information from my workplace, the flowers sent in violation of the no-contact order. "Your Honor," Jake's lawyer argued, "my client was simply trying to communicate with his former fiancé. He made mistakes, yes, but calling this harassment is an overreaction. Mr. Morrison is not a dangerous man. He's a heartbroken man trying to make amends." The judge looked at me. "Ms. Reynolds, I'd like to hear from you directly. Why do you feel you need this order of protection?" I stood up, my voice steady. "Your Honor, Jake Morrison lied to me for 6 months. He betrayed my trust repeatedly. When I ended our relationship, he refused to accept my decision. He showed up at my workplace uninvited. He tried to get information about my schedule from my colleagues. He sent me flowers after being served with a no-contact order. His family and friends harassed me with dozens of messages. I don't believe he intends to physically harm me, but I do believe he will not stop trying to contact me, manipulate me, or pressure me into resuming a relationship I ended. I need this order so I can move forward with my life in peace." The judge made notes, looked at Jake. "Mr. Morrison, do you have anything to say?" Jake stood, his voice cracked. "I love her. I made mistakes, but I love her. I just want a chance to fix things." "This isn't about your feelings, Mr. Morrison," the judge said curtly. "This is about whether Ms. Reynolds has a right to be free from unwanted contact, and based on the evidence presented, she does." She signed the order. "The no-contact order is hereby extended for 1 year. Mr. Morrison, you are prohibited from contacting Ms. Reynolds directly or indirectly, from coming within 100 feet of her residence or workplace, and from enlisting others to contact her on your behalf. Violation of this order will result in criminal charges. Do you understand?" Jake's face crumpled. "Yes, Your Honor." Court adjourned. I walked out of that courtroom with my head high. David squeezed my shoulder. "You did great." "Thank you for everything." "You're welcome. And Emma? It's over now. He can't contact you. You're free." Free. The word echoed in my mind as I drove home. Free. I was free from his lies, his manipulation, his inability to let go. Free to rebuild my life without looking over my shoulder. I stopped at the grocery store on the way home, bought fresh flowers, yellow tulips, my favorite, picked up ingredients for dinner, real dinner, not takeout. When I got home, I put the tulips in a vase on the kitchen table, cooked pasta with garlic and olive oil, poured myself a glass of wine, ate dinner slowly, savoring every bite, and then I sat on my couch and cried. Not because I missed Jake, but because it was finally over, because I'd survived, because I'd chosen myself. The tears came in waves, relief, exhaustion, grief for the life I'd thought I'd have, gratitude for the life I was building instead. When the tears stopped, I felt lighter, emptier, but in a good way, like I'd been carrying something heavy for so long that I'd forgotten what it felt like to stand up straight. I called Morgan. "It's done," I told her. "The order was approved." "I'm so proud of you," I cried. "Good. You needed to." "I don't know what happens now." "Now?" Morgan said. "Now you live your life. The life you choose, not the one someone else chose for you." The weeks that followed were quiet. I fell into a new rhythm. Work, gym, cooking, reading. I started taking a pottery class on Thursday nights, something I'd always wanted to try but never made time for. I reconnected with old friends I'd neglected during my relationship with Jake. I bought new sheets for my bed, soft, expensive ones in a deep emerald green. I hung art on the walls, pieces I'd always loved but Jake had said were too modern. I made the apartment completely, undeniably mine. And slowly, I started to feel like myself again. Not the woman I'd been before Jake. Someone new. Someone stronger. Someone who knew her worth and wouldn't settle for less. 3 months after the courthouse hearing, I got a promotion. My boss called me into his office on a Tuesday afternoon. "Emma, I'm making you senior director. You'll oversee both operations and strategy. It's a significant increase in responsibility and compensation." I stared at him. "Really?" "You've earned it. You're the best leader on this team. Congratulations." I walked out of his office feeling like I was floating. That night, I called my mother. "I got promoted," I told her. "Oh, sweetheart, that's wonderful. I feel like everything's finally coming together, like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." "That's because you are," she said. "You chose yourself, Emma. You chose your dignity and your peace. And look what happened. You didn't fall apart. You rose." I hung up and looked around my apartment. At the emerald sheets visible through my bedroom door. At the art on the walls. At the yellow tulips. Fresh ones, because I bought them for myself every week now. On the kitchen table. This was my life. My space. My peace. And it was more than enough. 6 months after the breakup, I ran into Vanessa. I was at a coffee shop in the Loop, waiting for my latte, when I heard someone say my name. I turned. It was her. Same blonde hair, but cut shorter. She looked different. More confident, maybe. "Emma, hi." "Vanessa, I don't want to bother you," she said quickly. I wanted to say thank you." "For what?" "For not hiring me," she said with a slight smile. It sounds weird, but it was the wake-up call I needed. I realized I'd been making terrible decisions, chasing the wrong things. After everything fell apart, I took some time off, figured out what I actually wanted. I'm working at a nonprofit now. It's not glamorous, but it's meaningful, and I'm dating someone who actually respects me. "I'm glad," I said, and I meant it. "How are you?" she asked. "I'm good, really good." "I'm glad," she echoed. "You deserved better than him." "So did you." We stood there for a moment, 2 women who'd been lied to by the same man, who'd both chosen to walk away. "Take care, Emma." "You too." She left. I got my latte, sat by the window and watched the city move around me. I thought about how much had changed. How the woman I was 6 months ago wouldn't recognize the woman I was now. How I'd gone from someone who made herself smaller to someone who took up space unapologetically. I thought about Jake, wherever he was. I hoped he'd learned something, grown, changed. But mostly, I just didn't think about him at all anymore. He was a chapter in my story, a painful one, but just a chapter. The rest of the book was mine to write. 1 year after the breakup, I was sitting in my office when Priya brought in the mail. "This came for you," she said, handing me a thick envelope. I opened it. Inside was a wedding invitation. "Morgan Chen and David Park request the honor of your presence." Morgan, getting married, to the guy she'd met right after my breakup. I smiled. That weekend, I went dress shopping with her. "I can't believe you're getting married." I said as she tried on her 5th dress. I can't believe I found someone who actually deserves me, she said. You know what's funny? I never would have met David if I hadn't been spending so much time with you after your breakup. We met at that wine bar I dragged you to. So I'm responsible for your happiness? Basically, she grinned. Then her expression turned serious. But really, Emma, watching you go through what you went through, watching you choose yourself, it made me realize what I wanted. Someone who sees me, who respects me, who doesn't make me feel like I need to be smaller. You found him. I did, and you'll find someone too, when you're ready. Maybe, I said, but right now, I'm happy with just me. And I was. The morning of Morgan's wedding, I stood in front of my mirror, adjusting my dress, a flowing burgundy number that made me feel elegant and strong. I looked at my reflection, really looked. I saw a woman who'd survived betrayal and manipulation, a woman who'd set boundaries and protected herself, a woman who'd rebuilt her life from the ground up. I saw myself, not who Jake wanted me to be, not who his family expected, not the quiet little girlfriend or the woman who made herself smaller, just me, Emma Reynolds, 33, senior director, survivor, whole. At the wedding, I stood in the back during the ceremony and cried happy tears for Morgan, for her new beginning, and for mine. At the reception, I danced with Morgan's cousins and ate too much cake and laughed until my face hurt. And when I drove home that night, alone, I didn't feel lonely. I felt free. I pulled into my parking spot, walked up to my apartment, unlocked the door, my door, with my new locks and my keys. I kicked off my heels, changed into pajamas, made tea. And I sat on my couch, in my apartment, in the life I'd built for myself, and felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Real, deep, unshakable peace. Because I'd learned the hardest lesson, that the most important relationship I'd ever have was the one with myself, that I didn't need someone else to complete me or validate me or make me feel worthy. I was already complete, already valid, already worthy, all on my own. I picked up my phone and opened my notes app. Started writing. Not about Jake, not about the betrayal or the pain or the court hearing, about what came after, about rebuilding, about choosing yourself, about the quiet strength that comes from standing alone and realizing you're not actually alone at all. You have yourself, and that's more than enough. I wrote until midnight, until my tea went cold and my eyes grew heavy. And when I finally went to bed, I slept soundly. Because I knew something I hadn't known a year ago. I was going to be okay. Better than okay. I was going to thrive. Thank you for following Emma's journey. Sometimes the greatest love story isn't about finding someone else, it's about finding yourself. Remember, you are worthy of respect, honesty, and peace. Never settle for less. What did Emma's story teach you about boundaries, dignity, and self-worth? Share your thoughts below, and remember, your story doesn't end with betrayal. It begins with the choice to choose yourself.